XRP, we start with 1 hour chart. We want to see how we can look for trade. Mostly we try to analyze the chart and we see how we can look for the chart. Then from there, we want to see whether we can look for trade or not. All right. Because nowadays, as we can see, the bigger picture, most of the chart we are within the correction, and all the moves in the within the correction as like it doesn't give us really good trade for the long term, or this is a short term trade. Okay, first things, if we start with the 1 hour chart, as we can see, we put this low relative to the previous one. If we refer to the indicators, we see we have a divergence. Right now, we're looking at this correction. Okay, we want to see whether we can put this correction relative to this. That's mean we're expecting this one turn to a deeper move. All right. Anyway, we start with higher time frame. We want to see how we can look for chart in the bigger picture. Okay. First of all, based on daily chart, as we can see, we are within this correction. We need to see the breakout of this as a sharp move to confirm for the continuation. And the best thing is we need to see one more drop with the breakout of the previous low. We need to see the confirmation. Then before after that, if we get any reversal for long term, we can expect the price to retest the previous stop. Okay. The only thing is if we want to put this correction in relative to this move, which is a sharp move, can we expect the next one to be that sharp? I don't think so. The only thing is we need to see the breakout of the lowest price of this correction, the breakout of this correction. In the bigger picture, we will have this flat, the correction. Then any reversal from there, we can take the trade. Okay, but whether we can get the breakout, the price can break the previous low or not, we need to see. Sometimes you cannot get it because technically we should expect that. But when what we have been based on the history, sometimes you cannot see. That's why we try to trade within the correction. Any trade setup we get for long term, for buy, we take it. And if it's not moving our direction, we just take out the trade. Okay. And if we refer to our analysis, the first things we have been looking for this move differently. Whether we call this one as a flat, as the first and the last move, or this is the flat for one move up. All right. All the question is at the spot. Because right now within this move, the price is the way it's moving is really corrective. Because if we want to go with the first option, if this is the flat as a first and this is the last wave, that means after the breakout of this correction for long term, we can look for reversal. But if we go with the second option, to put this one as a flat, we can expect one move up, the price drop before we get. That means this correction we can expect this one turn to a more complex correction. Okay, now we want to see how we can look at the chart and what's the best option if we want to look for trade. Okay, in this case we move to forward chart. All right, the first things we have been looking for, this flat. After we get this chart move down, we get the tree wave structure, and right, this is the internal flat, and right now we're looking at this. That means we want to put this move separately, and this is the another part. We just divided into two different parts. All right, right now we're looking at this. Already we have this internal flat. We want to see whether this is the last wave in relative to this. The first thing is the first move is really sharp, but the last one is really corrective. Okay, the best things if this one could be as sharp as what we have here, but mostly we know this sharp move is because of the some news because of the Bitcoin. All right, that means we're looking at this three wave structure. All right, this is a bigger picture, and right now we just move into this part. We want to see how we can look at this. Okay, if we zoom here, if we refer to our analysis, we had this flat as well. That means this is the first wave, and this part is the correction. All right, we don't need to talk about this anymore. The only thing is we want to see how we can look at this correction. Whether this is the only flat and we can expect the price to drop and break the previous low, or this one can turn to a more complex correction with the internal flat as a first three wave structure for one move up and the price drop. Okay, the only question is how complex can be this one can be. And the best things is if you're looking at this one in the bigger picture and we consider this part as a correction, the best things is we need to see the breakout of the previous low. We need to see the confirmation based on the this correction. And the best things is if the price can drop, at least break the previous low. Either this is the internal flat as a first correction, last, or even this one turn to a more complex correction, the price drop before we get the reversal. Okay, that's mean right now the price is consolidating within this move. We need to see the breakout of this. But the best things is if the price can drop with the breakout of the previous low. Whether we get or not, we cannot confirm. Because as we can see, the price, it couldn't, 3 times tag almost 80 cents, but it couldn't break. This is what we can see here. That's why if we get one more drop with the breakout of the almost 80 cents, then any reversal, it can give us better confirmation. Because from there, we want to see how deep it can go. Because as we mentioned, if I just, we're looking for this part separately. And as we can see, the waves move is really corrective. And even if you put this one as a correction, the next one, we want to see how deep it can go. But right now, we don't care about how deep it can go. The only thing is we want to see the breakout. And then from there, we can see the divergence based on 4-hour chart. Okay, the first things I need to highlight here. This is how we can look for the chart in the Elliott wave. All right. But so we have some changes. We are not following exactly at what we have in Elliott wave. All right. But we should note that it doesn't mean the price cannot reverse from here. Sometimes the market doesn't follow exactly as what we expect or based on technical analysis. But for me, I know that if I see the breakout of this correction for the price to drop, then from there, if I want to look for buy, it can give me a better opportunity to look for buy. All right. And the second things we can look at this, look at the chart, even we explained my last analysis. How about if we put this one as a flat? All right. Since the price was within this move, within this here, we could consider, we look at this in that, look at the chart in this way, because we were expected to get one move up similar to what we have here. And even if this is what we have been looking for, and even if we put this one as a flat, we were expecting the price to reverse and drop before we get the reversal. Because we mentioned if we follow the chart with this type of this second option, we can expect to be more complex correction. But right now, since we have this correction, look at the chart in this way is not really good idea. Okay, because at that times we want to consider whether this is as a part of this move, and if yes, that means the last wave is really deep. Okay, that's why we prefer, we are not really going to discuss about the second option. We just put it our line here. And how we can look at the chart, we put this one as a separately. And if we move into the details, so right now we're looking at this part, this correction. We want to see how complex can be. We want to see the breakout of this, either up or down, but we prefer to get it down. It can give us better reversal. But how deep this one can be, how long we will be within this, any trade within this correction is a short-term trade. Okay, and right now we want to see whether this is the flat, we have it, as I explained, and the price is going to drop and break the previous low, or we can expect this one turn to more complex. We see the internal correction as a first internally one move up, then the price drop. Then what I want to say is that if the price is going to drop from here, we just let it go. We are not going to look for sell. And after the breakout of the previous low, then from there we see how deep it can go. We can put our fib here with a 27% or 61%. If we see the breakout, then after that I will give update. But if the price reverse from here, we know that we are within this zone. Any trade is a short-term buy, because with the breakout of the previous top, we can expect internal flat and the price can drop. Okay, just make it very simple. Right now, the only thing is we're looking at this correction. All right, we want to see how we can look for trade. If the price is going to drop, selling is not a really good idea, as long as we see the breakout of this or we see some changes here. But if we get any trade set up for buy within this one, for the short term, we can look for buy. Okay, and right now I will put this one as the first up. All right, maybe put it here this way. I put it here. The only thing is I'm struggling whether I put here or not, because we want to see whether we can go with the second move or not. All right, because the only thing is right now we need to confirm whether this is the only correction and the price is going to drop as I explained, or we have these three waves internally for one move up. Okay, how to leave these lines, as I mentioned, is indicative. We are not using the lines to read the charts. The only thing is I want to show what we are looking for. All right, now I move to 1 hour chart. Okay, and what I can see here is if I put my lines here, again, we are not using the lines for trading. The only thing is we're using the lines to show what we are looking for. And right now, if we move to 1 hour chart, if I remove everything, okay, the first thing is, as we can see, the price almost broke the previous low and we see the divergence. Okay, but what I'm expecting this one turn to flat for one more drop. If I get one more drop as a short term, as long as the price break this correction with the divergence, if I get any reversal as a short term trade, I will take it, and with the breakout of the previous top, I will start to manage it. All right, this is what we can look for the buy as a short term. Okay, because I explained based on 4 hour chart in the bigger picture, we want to see the breakout of the correction and we want the price to drop. But right now we're looking at the 1 hour chart. Okay, and as I mentioned, right now if we get a correction here, we can expect this one turn to flat, the price drop with the breakout of the previous low. We see, if we see the divergence, any reversal with the sharp move flag, we take the trade. But the short term, whether we should take it or not, we need to wait and get the trade set up. But how about if the price reverse from here? We cannot call it this is as a three waves structure with the flag, with the divergence. If the price reverse from here, we just let it go. The only times we can look for the price reverse from here, the only times we can look for trade if we see the breakout of this one as a sharp move, breakout of the previous top with a flag, then may we consider to look for trade. But whether we should look for trade at that time or not, we need to see in terms of the risk and reward. Okay, what I want to say is that the way the chart is moving doesn't give us a really good trade setup. Okay, and right now if I just highlight the put over entry above the top, I won't do that because I'm sure that simply the price can tag and drop, because I know this one can simply turn to a flat. That's why if I want to look for buy from here, I prefer this one turn to a flat, give me one more drop, I see the divergence. If I see the divergence, then if I get the reversal from there, I will take the trade. If the price reverse from here, I just let it go. I won't buy as long as the price it haven't broke this small picture. That's mean this correction. Okay, what I want to highlight that if anyone is trading based on lower time frame, they need to be really careful, because the way they are moving is like it doesn't give us a next direction very clearly. That's why based on 4 hour chart for me, if I want to look for trade, I'm looking at this correction. What I prefer, whether I should look for the trade within this zone, as I mentioned, for one move up, the only thing is I want a confirmation from this correction, as I've explained based on 1 hour chart. But in the bigger picture, I'm looking for this correction. If I want to buy for long-term trade, I prefer the price drop and break the previous low. Then from there, I will see whether I can look for the reversal or not. Any trade within this zone is a short-term trade. Whether we should take the trade or not, it depends on the traders, as I explained based on 1 hour chart. Okay, right now we don't have any trade set up. Even if the price reverse from here as a bit a sharp move, we don't have any reason to look for buy. All right. Anyway, we just follow the chart. I just try to explain how we can look at the chart and what in the bigger picture we're looking for. But whether we should look for trade or not, right now we don't have any confirmation. All right, that's why I'm not going to give any trade setup right now unless I see the really good trade setup with the confirmation for the long term. The short term, it depends on the traders, as I explained how we can look at the trade based on 1 hour chart. Anyway, we just follow the chart. If I see any update or trade setup, I will share. Thanks.